Okay, my name's Chris. I am building a Great Western Building Company, I-beam structure, and this is truly DIY. I actually retired as a police officer, taking the time to spend with my family and build my shop that I've been wanting for years. I used to be a GM Master Tech, and I'm getting tired of working on my back on a creeper, so I decided I wanted a shop. I've got a lift to put in there, and yeah, this is just the beginning stages. I wish I had more videos specifically about the foundation that I put in, but essentially what I did was right here, where this is 36 wide right here, and this dimension right here is 50, that goes all the way back. Now, what I did was I just had a trencher on my skid steer, and I trenched down about 3.5 feet. That is well below the frost line. I've lived out here for 18 years, and I've drilled in the middle of winter, and I've been able to identify that the frost line is usually about 18 to 20 inches deep, just because we don't have a whole lot of moisture here. And so I feel comfortable with that. We reinforced a ton of rebar. We actually bent rebar to 90 degrees. So they go down. I've got rebar going horizontally and then vertically, and it creates a 90-degree tab, and then they extend into this pad about 3 feet. I did not put any rebar in the actual pad except for over here, because I have an extra depth in 2 pods over here for a 10,000-pound 2-post lift, because those required at least a minimum of 6 inches concrete. So I put 12 inches there, reinforced it with rebar. You look at it now, you'd never even know that it was there. But couple of tricks that I identified is that sheeting edge. There's some other videos that they talk about that sheeting edge, and I really thought about it. I prayed about it, tried to figure out what I wanted to do, and this is truly a DIY. So anything I can do, especially when I go to sheet this thing, that will help me, I will absolutely go ahead and do. So what I did was I measured the form out right here, and the distance basically from this point here to that point there is 36 feet. However, I went 36 feet and 3 inches, and the reason being is simply because of this edge right here. As you can see, if I come down, you can see the edge of the floor is actually right here on the inside. That is 36 feet from here to the other side. This is 1.5 inches, and if you take a look at the form that I used, you can see I had a 2x2 on the inside, and that created that step that they talk about in the plans and some of their videos that they talk about. So this way, when I go to actually put the sheeting on, you've got that metal edge that it goes down, and they want a little bit of a gap. So probably what I'll do is use like a drywall shim, but that gap or that sheeting will go down on there, and that'll prevent any rodents from coming in, that'll prevent any water intrusion, all kinds of stuff. So I decided to go ahead and do that, because at the end of the day, it was just a cost of 2x2. So I went ahead and did that and planned for it. Probably the only thing that I look at afterwards that I wish I would have done is maybe put another kicker in there, because when I looked at it afterwards, I had just a very slight, maybe about 1/8 or 1/4 inch bow right here, because of how many, I didn't have as many kickers there as I did all along this edge here. But as you can see here, I did some plumbing beforehand. We're going to have a walk-in cooler over here, and that way I can wash out for all the game animals when we hunt. I've got a toilet. I've got a shower in case we get doused with oil or something's going on, and then I've got a drain over here to create a little man cave and be able to actually put cabinets and stuff over there with maybe a sink. Other than that, I've got the floor drains that I put in. Sorry for the going back and forth here. Let me go to that. Let me walk over here. So I've got some floor drains with metal grates I put in. Not a whole lot of slope going down to them. It's more of just, hey, when it's 20 below in the wintertime and we're working in the shop, we don't have to open up the garage door and shove the water outside. We can go ahead and put it down the drain. I've got a P-trap right here, and that P-trap will then trap any vapors, and it'll go out into basically just a French drain. But we just poured this concrete yesterday. Nice shop floor here. We've got 3 doors. I've got a 12-foot wide door here, 12-foot wide door here, and then over here I have another 10-foot wide door. Now the one thing you will notice, if you look over here, so right here there's a little bit of a a drop. And the plans for Great Western Building recommend that basically you slope your garage door openings, and they give you dimensions, whether you're working with an 8-inch jamb, a 10-inch jamb, or an 11-inch jamb, or whatever you're working with for their iron when they design it. Mine's just a 10-inch jamb, so I only had to come in 11 feet. But he basically, right here, is where the garage door is going to be. So if the water comes in, hits the garage door, goes down, you want it to be able to flow out. So that's what that drain's for. That was pretty easy. That was just hand cut. They just did that, leveled it out. No big deal. So if you like what I'm doing and you want to see how Great Western Buildings is put together, I'm going to try to do some time lapse videos. Unfortunately, I was out here the day before concrete with a headlamp, still setting my bolt holes or my bolt markers, and it was a mess, and I had zero time to actually set up a camera. So I wasn't able to get anything for the concrete setting, but that was by far one of the most complex things I think is going to be. And it's just going to be following and checking, double checking, triple checking, checking your angles, checking your measurements, making sure what you've got. The center beam from basically right here, okay, so from that one over to this side over here in the center, they give you dimensions of what that's supposed to be from the center of the bolt to the center of the bolt. And so what's nice about it is before you pour concrete, if you're double checking everything, you can verify. You can go diagonal and check your diagonal measurements. So I'm fairly confident that this thing will basically be a Lego kit. We'll see how it goes. I've got family flying out later this week. And if you want to see how this goes, you want to follow along, subscribe, follow. Let's see what we can do with this Great Western Building, and truly believe that it is a DIY setup. Have a nice one.